Diburei Emuna daf kuf lamed tes, sirach chof ches, in Chayei Moharan, taf kuf samech daled let Shabbos Kodesh after Kiddush, and the Rebbe says, and I saw in a dream that I was in a town, and I saw in the dream that it was a huge city, and huge tzaddik, a tremendous tzaddik, one of the old tzaddikim, that was held, that was considered to be a huge tzaddik. And everybody went to him. And I also went to him. This is what Rabbeinu said. And I also went to him. And I saw that everybody passes by him at his side, and they didn't give him shalom. And it looked as if they're doing it b'chavana. They're doing it on purpose. And I was astounded that they had such azas, had such temerity, because I knew he was a big tzaddik. So I asked him about it. How do they have such freshness, such temerity, not to give him shalom b'chavana? And the teretz was because really he was a huge tzaddik. Was a huge tzaddik. But he had a body that was put together of a few places. And those few places were Pchinas HaMekomas HaMetunofim, the filthy places. But he himself was a great person. And he accepted upon himself to rectify that body. And the halacha is that you don't say shalom to your friend in mekomos hametunofim, in the filthy places. That's why they wouldn't give him shalom. What we come out of Divrei Rabbeinu is that one person can never look at another. Every person is a universe all his own. Even two chaverim should not mesh into each other's inyanim. We saw that Rabbeinu says to the chassid, Rabbi Yehuda Eliezer, that was very, very close to Reb Nosson, and years later he actually accompanied Reb Nosson to his Nesiat Eretz Yisrael. He said that it's right that he should speak to Reb Nosson, Avodas Hashem, in a general oifen, but don't tell him in detail things that are going over him. Don't tell him in details what is going over you. Rebbe says you need sichas chaverim. This is one of the most basic tenets of Rabbeinu, to strengthen one another. But to actually tell and be misvada, v'di dvarim, this is what I did, this is what happened. Whatever it is a person goes through, this is also to say to your friends. This minhag only before Hashem Yisborach and the tzaddik emes. A regular person, even a great person, a mashpia, a mechanach, cannot possibly hear in detail whatever it is that the teller has to tell him. Because it can be mazik to the person who is telling.
And the person that's listening.
It can be mazik to the person who is telling,
okay.
and it can create a distance between the one who is telling and the one who is listening, because the one who is telling is embarrassed before the one he's telling to. He says, truthfully, the tzaddik amiti can hear from his people everything that goes over them in details, and no change will happen. They will not be pushed away because of the busha, because the tzaddik hears the stupidity of their deeds. Adrabah, the tzaddik has such a koyach that after you confess before him and they cry before him for what they did, not only they don't being pushed away from the tzaddik of the busha, but they receive her in chizuk by hearing, by the fact that the tzaddik hears everything that they tell him. But this ability to hear the confession in detail is only single people have it. Only the tzaddik emes that has this koyach. And even by him, by the tzaddik emes, this anhaga is not always. That's not the way he always behaved. And he says, until the time he went to Lemberg, that's the way people used to be. They used to confess before him. After he came from Lemberg, he wouldn't hear Diburei anymore because of his own reasons. But to chaverim, even you consider him to be your rav. Asur, it's forbidden to tell him what's going on over you. In a chinami. If you fell, chas v'chalila, you fell into something, you are allowed to receive chizuk from your chaver, but never tell the details of what happened. You can say I fell on an avera, but don't tell the near. As Reb Simcha told me, nothing samuch v'nira. There's a halacha, of about masa sheni and about where you're allowed to eat it, all kinds of inyanim, in Yerushalayim, and where do they have to bring it to Yerushalayim? You don't have to bring it to Yerushalayim. And all kinds of inyanim. There is two qualifications. It says samuch, which is close enough. And there's also nearer. It's not that close, but you can see Yerushalayim. So there is something which is called samuch v'nira. It's close and it can be seen. So he says, when you're telling your chaver that you fell into a certain avera, you should never go into detail that will make the avera b'vchinas samuch v'nira. In other words, close and can be seen. In other words, if you're telling enough for the machshava of your friend to start imagining what went on, this is samuch v'nira. Don't go there. Just say, I fell in avera, I almost fell in avera, whatever it is. No details. A person will strengthen, will help his friend, and one will say to his brother, strengthen. But in this pasuk it does not say that one will know what happens by his friend. This you have to tell only before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Only before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ad kan for today.